Alright, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am just filming my relationship advice questions video. I posted on my Instagram, which is this, a bunch of questions trying to figure out like what you guys wanted me to talk about, and 97% of you said that you wanted me to talk about relationship advice. So I asked you guys to send me in some questions, and now I'm just gonna sit here and answer them and give you the best advice that I have. And it's gonna be great. And I talked a lot, so I'm gonna keep this intro really short and we're just gonna get straight into it. Okay, you guys, so today we are filming a girly advice video. Don't really know what it's gonna be like. Maybe I'll make this like a series or something, kind of like Kelsey Capel. I really like her videos when she does this, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I'm just gonna get right into the questions that you guys sent me on Instagram, and my Instagram is this. If I ever end up doing something like this again, I always ask people to ask me questions on Instagram because it's just the easiest way. So definitely go follow me there so you can get some questions in next time. But yeah, okay, first question. So this one comes from Flowerfields23, and it's just advice for dealing with jealousy and the thought of your partner with others. I have my laptop behind me, so that's what I'm reading. Yeah, this one's a difficult one. As someone who gets very jealous, probably shouldn't even be giving advice on this, but I definitely have struggled with jealousy. I get jealous over the dumbest things because I just want to spend as much time as possible with like my significant other. Like I'll get jealous if Oliver just literally plays video games. He's currently doing that right now, right over here. But if you're getting jealous over reasons for stuff that's like a bit more serious, like if you're getting jealous because he's talking to other girls or she is talking to other girls, you know, whatever, really just like take a step back and look at the stuff you're getting jealous over and make sure it's justified. So obviously if you know you're dating this guy and he's always Snapchatting other girls and being kind of shady, then that's obviously a very perfect excuse to be jealous over, and that's probably someone you shouldn't be with. But if you're just getting jealous over small minute things like me, it's probably because you maybe are a little dependent on hanging out with that person, and just try to find things to distract yourself so that you're not constantly depending on them for attention or entertainment or whatever it might be. Because, you know, if you have nothing to do, you're obviously going to get jealous of what your partner is doing because you have nothing better to do. I find that boredom starts the most fights because it's just you're bored and there's nothing else to do. So that's that question. So the next question comes from Sally Dornboss, and I think I said that right, sorry if I didn't. I just got out of a 4-year high school relationship. Best advice to heal and deal with it. So high school relationships ending is hard, I get that, because it's like so many people in high school think that they're gonna end up with the person they're with like forever. I know that even I, like when I was coming out of my relationship with my high school, you know, boyfriend or whatever, I had plans for the future. I thought that, you know, like this person was going to be the person I was with for the rest of my life, and obviously that did not happen. Because, you know, it's like usually the first time you're in love and you think it's everything and you think it's all going to go well, and then you start to grow up and you know, you go to different colleges, you go to the same college, and you start learning new things and you meet new people and you change so much. And I think the best way to deal with it is just really to kind of realize that you've outgrown that person most likely, and that's why it didn't work out. And the best way to like heal from it, I would say, is just time. Like there's really no better way to heal from a relationship. There's no like quick pill to be like, okay, I'm over it, unless they cheat on you. That always does the trick, because then you can just be mad and like be over it. But yeah, honestly, time is your best friend. And I don't know, for me, it's never been like a good thing to kind of rebound. I always kind of like to heal on my own and like stop dating for a little bit. It feels weird when you have been texting this person every single day, all day for like, you know, the past 4 years or whatever it might be. It's gonna feel weird and you're gonna feel lonely, and it doesn't mean that you're sad about the breakup ending. It just means that you're sad about, you know, like losing the company that you had. So just surround yourself with friends as much as you possibly can, and I think that's kind of all you can do, really. Okay. So this question comes from Moonwalker14, and it says, how to make friends at a new school, especially girlfriends. And this is something I always struggle with. I still struggle with this to this day. When I came to college, I had no friends starting out. I didn't know anyone, and I was in a whole new state, and it was like super scary because, you know, you lose all your friends that you can kind of confide in. I mean, you lose physically being able to like confide in them. You can always call your friends from back home and things like that, but it's just not the same, and I totally get that. So it's nice to have a friend kind of on deck that you can just go get a hug from whenever you need it. I got really lucky my freshman year of college because I actually met my best friend now and some of my really close friends the day I got there because they live right next door. So that was really nice, and I don't know how that worked out. That must have just been like a nice little blessing. But yeah, I met my best friend on the first day of college, and I met her just by kind of going around and like introducing myself, which is super uncomfy. But you know, everybody was moving in that day and everyone had their doors open, and I was with my mom and everyone's with their moms, and they just kind of started talking, like me and my friend's mom, and then it got us to talking, and then we just started talking, and since we were the only people we knew at that time, we just got closer and found out we really liked each other, and we're still like best friends to this date. So I would say just doing what you can to kind of go out and get to know people, join clubs that you're interested in. But yeah, I would just say just be open to new experiences. I also, when I first got to college, I never said no to hanging out with someone, which was really hard because I am kind of an introvert and I like to spend time alone, and I usually know right off the bat when I meet someone if I'm gonna get along with them or not. But you know, it's always good to just open your branches and kind of spread out, spread your wings, try new things, and you'll meet people that, you know, maybe you didn't think you would be friends with, and then they end up being your best friend, like me. Super fun. Okay, next question. This one comes from Nanomore. I think I'm saying that right. And she wants to know, like, how to know if a guy likes you. That's a good question. I would say it depends on the guy, definitely. Because, you know, there's some guys who are super into, I guess, quote unquote, playing games, like the Chuck Basses of the world from Gossip Girl, who, you know, they'll ignore you and kind of make you feel like they don't like you, and then they'll give you like a nice little taste of what it would feel like if they like you, and then won't pay attention anymore. Like stuff like that. So, and then there's, on the other hand of the spectrum, there's guys who are just like very obviously open and like, hey, I want to get to know you better, and I think you're really cool, and they ask you to hang out, and everything's like super easygoing and there's no questions involved. And I think those are personally like the guys that I like to go for. I don't want to be questioning like if a guy likes me or not. I want it to be pretty obvious because I like feeling secure. But that's just me. It really depends on like the kind of guys that you want to go for. But I think it's just obvious when, you know, they make an effort to be around you and they make an effort to talk to you when they see you. I know, like, whenever me and Oliver first started dating, he was pretty like shy, and I just accounted that to be like him being mysterious, which I think is funny. He was really just shy and didn't know what to say, but I was like, he's so mysterious, like he never talks to me really, or if he does, it's like not opening up very much. I just wanted to like get to know him more. But he always made an effort to like be at the same places that I was going to. So like if our friends had a party, he would go because he figured I was gonna be there, and like vice versa. And he would always make an effort to talk to me, even if I was like surrounded by all my girlfriends, which can be kind of intimidating. So that was like a big sign that I felt like he liked me. So yeah. So this question comes from Baby Blue 47. And it says, how did you know you were in love the first time, and how long did it last? The first time I was in love, I think I knew. I think the biggest thing for being in love is just that you can't get enough of that person. You just want to hang out with them all the time, and they kind of like consume all of your thoughts. And a lot of people think that that is probably a sign of lust, but I mean, you have to like fall in lust to fall in love. So I think that's kind of the beginning step. But when you really love someone, I think the biggest sign is that you just think of them before yourself. Like with Oliver now, you know, I'll do something and he's always like in the back of my head, like we're in quarantine like at his house right now, and like say I'm hungry and I want to cook something, I always think like, oh well, what would Oliver like to eat as well? Like it's just all those little tiny things that, you know, you wouldn't normally have to think about someone else, like including someone else, but then now you want to, and you kind of think of just ways to make them happy all the time. I think that's one of the biggest signs of being in love, is you just care for them and want the best for them. Put shortly. And then how long did it last? So I guess the first time I fell in love, more like puppy love, that was more like high school love, that was my first boyfriend. But I would say, I guess we dated for around a year and a half in high school. Then we broke up for about a year and we got back together and did long distance for like 6 months. So however long that is the first time I was in love. So yeah. And the next question also comes from Baby Blue 47. And she says, what's your best breakup coping mechanism? Any advice? So for me, breakups, this is gonna sound bad, but like breakups have never been that hard for me because I've only been broken up with once and I already knew it was coming, so I already had time to kind of like deal with it. It was with my first boyfriend, and we had been dating for like, I don't know, 3 months maybe, and then he started just kind of, he went to another school, and so he just kind of started ignoring me and like wouldn't reply to my texts as much, and he would give me like really short responses. And then he'd start posting pictures, like he'd say he couldn't hang out, but then he'd post on his Snapchat story that he was, you know, at the club or something. He was also a year older than me, so yeah, I was just like, that's weird, like I'm his girlfriend, like he should probably want to be hanging out with me, right? And he didn't, so I was like, okay, that probably means he doesn't like me anymore and he's probably gonna break up with me soon. And I don't know why I didn't just break up with him. I guess I still liked him, so I was like, well, no, I'll hold off, maybe he's just wanting some space or something. But yeah, no, he just wasn't into me and we ended up breaking up. But I was the one who initiated it because I was like, hey, like, what's going on? You're ignoring me. Like, if you don't like me anymore, just tell me. And that's kind of what happened. So that was a funny situation. But that was probably one of the harder breakups to get over because it was my first heartbreak. And I remember being so upset, thinking it was like the end of the world, and my mom was like snuggling with me on the couch and she was like, it'll be fine, like you're gonna find someone else. And I'm gonna put, it's so cheesy, but I'm gonna put like a quote on the screen right here. I remember I saved it on my Pinterest and that like changed my whole outlook on breakups. But it's something along the lines of like, don't be upset if something you thought was gonna work out doesn't, because that's just kind of opening the space for the right thing to come along. And that really helped me like turn my mindset around and be like, okay, well, this person wasn't into me anymore. That really sucks and it obviously hurts my feelings, but that only leaves the door open for someone who's gonna come along and actually want to be with me. So if you think about it that way, I hope that'll like help you out a little bit. Okay. This one also comes from Baby Blue 47 and she says, have you ever done a glow up after breaking up with someone? I would say definitely yes. I dated quote unquote this guy like my summer of high school graduation, and we dated for like the summer, and then it was kind of weird. We never really had a breakup. He just kind of left for school and I was really butthurt by that because he just like didn't even say goodbye or anything. So I was in super like glow up mode after that. I was also going to a new school, so I wanted like a whole new look, so I ended up dyeing my hair brunette and like totally turning into like this artsy art school girl and like reinventing myself freshman year. And I don't know if you'd consider that a glow up, but I definitely like changed my look, if that makes sense. This one comes from D Wallace and she says, how do you give a guy a compliment without it sounding too feminine for him? I'm not 100% sure what that means, but I think it means like not sounding too girly. So something for me, whenever I'm like interested in a new guy, I think something that helps me feel a little bit more comfortable is I just convince myself that I don't like them, which sounds a little backwards, but I get really nervous whenever I have a crush on someone and I say really dumb things and I ramble and it just gets bad. So I always just pretend that I'm not interested in them and that they're just a guy friend, and ask them the same questions that I would ask a guy friend, and like compliment them in the same way that I would with any guy friend, because that helps me kind of keep my nerves down and not say stupid things. So I hope that kind of answers that question. Okay, so this next question comes from Rebecca Incorporated. And her question is, have you ever been afraid of not being yourself with a boyfriend? Most definitely. That's kind of what ended up happening with me and my boyfriend from high school. And going to college is what really made me kind of realize how much I changed when I was with him, because, you know, it was very interesting because I grew up dating him like in my hometown, and I hadn't been exposed to anything other than like, you know, the people I knew from school and the people within my town. And I'd never really met anybody new, hardly. So when I went off to college and really started kind of actually finding things that I was really interested in, and, you know, making friends with people who are maybe a little different than my friends from high school, I definitely went through growth and like changed a lot. And then we ended up getting back together, and that's when I really realized how different we were and how much I was changing myself to kind of cater to his like needs, if that makes any sense. Like, I did even really dumb things. I'll give you a dumb example. I was super into like the chunky Fila tennis shoes. Remember when that was a thing? Like freshman year of college. And I was going to visit him for the summer, and I brought back like all of my clothes that I thought were super cute. Maybe they were a bit more experimental because I'm like an art school student, but they were maybe a little goofy, a little quirky is the word, I guess. And I brought all those clothes back because like that's what I felt cute in. And then I got back and he was like, what are you wearing? Like, you look ridiculous, and was super critical of like all the clothes that I was wearing. And that's like what I felt really represented my style and who I was at the time. So that was like a big red flag that I was like, I felt the need to change myself for him, and I didn't like that, and that was one of the big reasons we ended up breaking up. So this next question comes from Larissa Laza, I think that's how you say it, and it says, after a tough breakup, how do you distinguish if the next guy is a rebound or the real deal? Another great question. My answer for that one, I think I can answer this pretty well, because I actually ended up becoming interested in Oliver within 2 days of breaking up with my ex. So that was definitely something that kind of was going through my head, and he actually also did the same thing with like his girlfriend, which I think is funny. But I was definitely like, his friends and my friends were like, hey, just like take it slow, like you just broke up with someone, you might just want to take it slow and, you know, not rush into things. But I knew that he wasn't a rebound because I was so interested in him, and I really just liked him for who he was, if that makes sense. I didn't just want to quote unquote hook up with him or anything like that. I think that's the biggest sign if someone's a rebound or not. If you're only interested in them physically and you don't really care to like get to know them more as a person, that's a pretty big sign that they're probably a rebound. But I was really interested in Oliver, and I really wanted to get to know him more, and I didn't want to like rush into things. So I think that's probably how you can sort out the difference there. Just take a step back and really think like, okay, if I had to spend all day every day with this person, would I go crazy, or would it make me like them more? And that should answer your question. Okay, this next question comes from Phototoxel3, and it says, how do I get over an ex? I don't feel romantically attracted anymore, I just can't stop texting them. This kind of goes back to that question I answered earlier, where it's just kind of getting over an ex and getting over that loneliness you feel of not having someone to talk to 24/7, which I totally get. That's something I struggled with too, because, you know, I was dating my ex long distance, and so we were like texting all day and like keeping each other updated. And so when we broke up and that wasn't happening anymore, it was a very strange feeling to not have someone just to talk to, and it felt very lonely. So I think in that situation, you just need to surround yourself with friends and make sure you're keeping yourself occupied. And, you know, now's the perfect time to pick up a new hobby or do what you've been meaning to do and you haven't had the time to do it. And also, like, we're in quarantine. I'm sure everybody who's single is probably texting their ex right now because they're bored and have nothing better to do, but just don't do it. Don't do it. Like, another thing that helped me kind of stop texting and get over that like hump is just remember why you broke up with them. Like, write it down, keep it posted somewhere, and just remember that you broke up for a reason. So just stop texting them because you don't want to get into all that again. And one more thing to add for that question too, it, like, depending on who broke up with who, I know, like, if you've been broken up with and you didn't feel like you got closure, that's another reason you may feel like you need to keep talking to that person so you can just understand more why it happened. And if that's the case, I would just open up that conversation and then speak about whatever you need to speak about until you feel comfortable. And then after that's done, just stop. Like, stop texting them because you're not gonna get anything else from that conversation.
Okay, you guys, so I was editing this video and then I realized I literally just talked for an hour and a half straight, so I'm definitely going to have to make it 2 parts. And I polled on Instagram and you guys said that I should do part 1 and part 2, so that's what I'm going to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and hit the bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And stay tuned for part 2. I'll probably end up posting them on the same day, so part 2 will be linked in the description. Alright, bye.